back with another episode of the GameDay Squad Rugby League show. Couldn't be more excited to be here after an exciting first couple of games. Super excited. Keen to hear how everyone's squad went. I know so far so good on our end. But yeah, super excited. How good was Vegas?
Mate, it was amazing. My squad did well. And I'm sure everyone's ready for the rest of the round.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone who had Payne Haas did well, but we'll get into that. But I think overall it was a huge success for the league, and hopefully for everyone's game day squad, they're left happy and not unhappy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Norman, what was your take out of the Vegas games?
Out of the Vegas games, my take was that there were two teams that were super fit and I didn't expect it. Obviously, my team, the Roosters, we don't often start well. I did back us to get the win. Could be because I'm a Roosters fan.
We weren't surprised with the wins. We did speak about it beforehand, and the two teams we thought would win won.
Yeah.
But
and they're both underdogs, so well done to us.
For sure. But it's more so, Rabbitohs and Broncos not performing to where they should be.
Yeah, and I was just super, like I said, both the winning teams, I was surprised by their fitness. Like Manly looked so fit in that opening 20 and then they ended up winning the game, and so did the Roosters. So I was super surprised there. But there's a couple of players that I've got my eyes on to get into the squad, which we'll also touch on. But
a lot of players. Super
impressed. If I want to pick one person, not from a fantasy perspective, but someone who I feel like did really well, could you guess who it is?
Brooksy?
It's Luke Brooks. Like, finally gets out of the Tigers and boy, did he have a game. He almost scored twice.
I think Norman's been talking about Brooksy all week.
Yeah, I've been literally talking about him all week. I was so excited to see how he went and the fact that he actually performed, just really happy for him. I mean, I'm talking like we're best mates. He doesn't know me.
Surprised you didn't say Joey Manu.
Yeah, no, but I expect that from Manu, you know what I mean? But I didn't expect that from Brooks. I'm just so glad. It's like the shackles are off his feet and he's free. He's left Tiger Town and he's ripping and tearing. So hopefully he has a good season, but not too good of a season.
Yeah, it's good signs for Manly. But in terms of...
what about you?
We have to give him a few more weeks to see how he'll go. I know that first half was the link up between the halves and Tommy was a bit off. But of course, first game, you can't really say much. But in terms of the footy, it was spectacular.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, I honestly thought it would be very low scoring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
We were so wrong.
So wrong. For a first round, we always say it's defensive.
Yeah.
It was, and it was attacking as well.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Roosters-Broncos game was a bit more defensive. Obviously, there were less points scored, but they weren't afraid to throw the ball in the first game.
Yeah, our squads were gaining a lot of points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's get into it. With did someone really stand out to you, or were you on the Brooksy train too?
I wouldn't say stand out, but in terms of someone who I expected to score well, it was Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he just... in every aspect of the game.
And I assume, we're going to jump straight into strike, spare, misses. I know he's in your team. Yeah. I'm assuming he's your strike for the week.
Yeah, he's my strike because you're pretty sure he scored the highest this round so far. And
him up, Payne Haas.
Off the back of that, to back it up, a try and 2 try assists starts it pretty well. His goal kicking was a bit off, which, it's okay.
It's round one.
He still scored well, like I said. And... yeah, I'm just going to have to keep him in my squad.
Yeah, fair enough. And when we're talking about our squads, when we talk about strikes, spares, misses, it's always about players who are in our squad, right? Correct. It's not about anyone else in the league or who you've got in your fantasy team, fantasy squad, but it's just more about who's in ours, right? So without any surprise, this person's in my squad and also in my heart at the Roosters, Terrell May. I started him thinking that he would start. I thought Robbo would make a last-minute decision, but no, came from the bench, but did play 54 minutes and scored 57 points. Wow. So not bad at all to have Terrell May in my squad. Also, running for 167 metres off the bench and playing 57 minutes straight, I think he's set the standard.
Yeah, not bad for a Roosters player.
Oh, thanks. Jeez. And look, and the Bulldogs haven't even played yet, and they've got Parramatta, which is going to be... they've got a decent forward pack, so I think Dogs are in for a tough one, but I'll let Josh have that because at the end of the day, we got the win, so it's all that matters.
Well, I've got 2 strikes here because I couldn't...
2 strikes?
Yeah, I thought I'd get you off guard.
Flexing on my squad already, all right, mate?
I had to go Olakau'atu. Yeah.
I almost forgot you had him.
Yeah, a goal Olakau'atu too.
Jeez.
So, 184 metres, 6 tackle breaks, and obviously bagged a try.
Yeah, I assume he got the line break too with that try.
Yeah, with the line break.
Yeah.
He got, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so incredible stats. And for another reason why to keep the gold Olakau'atu, and he could be a finder this year, getting to the top 5 maybe. Well, it's pushing it, but he killed it, and right edge is looking really good.
Yeah, the right edge is looking really good for Manly. And I mean, we can say that after just watching 80 minutes of footy, but Ola Kawaitu last year, there was a point where people were comparing him to Keon Kualamatangi for an Origin spot, and then Keon gets the nod. And I did think Keon had a better season last year. But I mean, the way Ola Kawaitu played in that game and the way that his edge is linking up, it's like, if you don't have him in your squad, are there going to be too many back rowers this season?
Yeah. Even if the ball went over his shoulder a bit, he just found the way just to get the momentum and still get meters and still carry people.
He just bends the line every time he hits it. Like, there's always going to be an offload or post-contact meters, tackle break. Like, he just screams points.
Of course, not to mention that, he's that skilled that he can just get the offload away in any situation. See,
because round one isn't completely over yet, I haven't been as lucky as you to say that I could have 2 strikes. I would love to. At the moment, I've got a spare, which I'll jump into. Also scored 57 points. It's Adam Reynolds. So I played him in the halves thinking I've got Moses and Reynolds in my squad in the halves, just because I think they can both set up tries, and they're both goal kicking players. So I'm like, surely I get some points there. Unfortunately, he kicked 1 from 2. They only had 2 tries. I mean, fortunate as a Roosters fan, but Broncos going forward, I assume would score more tries. He obviously didn't even he didn't set up a try. So you add in a couple of tries, a couple more goals here and there. That 57 could easily be 67 week in, week out. He also made 26 tackles, which is why I've got him as a spare, not a miss, because that's pretty decent from a halfback.
It's not too bad, but I think in terms of picking a player you want control in your squad, he's hard to pick for me in terms of you got Walshy there, who is the X factor.
Yeah.
And many teams don't have a player like Walsh. So off the back of most of their tries, especially last year, it was Walshy grabbing the assist or, maybe getting that try assist from Adam Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I can see why you have him, especially because he goal kicks.
Yeah, it's just the goal kick bit.
I feel like when you have a player like Reece Walsh, he can take over well and truly.
Yeah.
And take points from these players who are outstanding.
You're right. And look, the thing is, looks like Josh has got one over me. The round's not over, but so far his squad is looking better than mine. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut and agree.
I should have talked too early because my
No, I'll accept it. I accept the advice.
I got to get into it because my spare, I've actually got 2 spares again.
Really?
Yeah.
You're just taking...
I have to. I'm being critical on my side.
Okay, go for
squad.
it.
And my first one's Cody Walker. Very, very limited in terms of the ball he got and didn't make much impact on the left edge. And, which rolls into my second spare, which is Alex Johnston, the same edge.
I'll give you advice before you continue, mate.
Yeah, you go for it.
Until that back line for Souths is sorted, and now that Keon's moved to the opposite side, I don't think any of those players will have a standout season from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah, I think I've missed... It's not a miss. I'm not going to say miss. Still a spare because I'm not going to rule them out of my squad yet. But in terms of the game they played, not to where I had them in terms of standard and their experience, Alex Johnston, without his try, he's scoring well below average. So
when he doesn't get a 4-pointer,
so he's not making an effort to come in field, take the runs. Obviously, with that, you don't get your running meters, your tackle breaks, line breaks.
Yeah,
and Cody Walker wasn't finding him all game. It was Latrell Mitchell who was my hit. So it's moving forward. Does Cody Walker find a spot in the squad? I mean, I can justify keeping Alex Johnston. He did well enough to hold for a few more weeks. But for Cody Walker, it's the last string for me, maybe. For one more round. And if he stays, he stays. If he doesn't,
Well, let us know in the comment section down below. Who would you rather in your squad? If you had to pick between our 2 halves we've got in the spare category, Cody Walker, Adam Reynolds, let us know who you'd rather pick in your squad. I'll jump into the misses, and I'm saying this, I'm pretty upset about this.
Yeah.
Joseph Suoli'i, obviously one of my favourite players, right? And I've got him in my squad, 19 points. It wasn't good. He played incredibly well, but it doesn't matter how you play for 80 minutes. Sometimes it's not the way you play, it's if you're fantasy relevant or not.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't fantasy relevant, but I feel like he could be, and I feel like last season had a good season. He's only going to grow from it. But now with Robbo probably undecided on what the exact backline will look like when everyone's fit and firing. Is he going to be a centre? Is he going to be a winger? Is he going to be playing New South Wales Cup? No one knows.
Yeah.
But he gave away a penalty and had 4 missed tackles, which took away everything he did from an attacking perspective. So ending up with 19 points when I was super confident on him just burnt me a bit, and that's why I put him in the missed category. Albeit it's round 1, up against a tough Broncos team on the other side of the world. Not all your centres are going to be on top of the world like Manu was.
playing him again next week?
We've got Manly next week. If Garrick's out and he's on Garrick's side.
I guess we'll talk about it next week, but
yeah.
Curious.
So far, I mean, he's a miss for this week.
Yeah.
But I got to give it another chance next week.
Fair enough. Is that your only miss so far?
My only miss, yeah. I'm not doing two. Don't tell me you did 2 misses.
I've got 2 misses.
Josh has gone above and beyond this week.
And I have to because I want to top the leaderboards, mate.
Okay.
I want to put pressure on myself.
Well, you better all like and subscribe.
Yeah, these are great hot tips. So for my miss, my first one is going to be Cobbo. I think the switch into centre has not impacted him well. I feel like he's a genuine winger. You know, I don't see him like a Greg Inglis type of centre. Like he's definitely that winger who just, you give him the ball, he's going to score. And we saw that, the introduction of the new winger. Mariner. So he played outstanding.
He did, yeah.
But we all know if Cobbo's playing there, he's grabbing that try too. So it's kind of like I expected him to do a bit better in the centre position. So that's why he's in my miss. Didn't get involved at all as much. I'm pretty sure he scored under 30 points. So it's hard to see him find the squad next week.
It's crazy to think because in the centre position, you'd think you'd get your hands on the ball a bit more than a winger. If you're not starting off your sets off a kick reception, it's like you're closer to the ball and closer to the action, right? So you'd think you can get yourself involved a little bit more.
You definitely do. It's just that I'm pretty sure he just doesn't feel comfortable in that role.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Like we saw Garrick get involved a fair bit. I don't think he's a centre, but he still got involved a whole lot more than what Cobbo did.
He just played his natural instinct.
Yeah.
But it definitely it's more pressure on the body as well. So you got to be much more fitter. You got to be much more, be able to play that and be ready for that ball to come to you.
Yeah.
Creative.
It's a change, right? You got to be more creative. Yeah, you can't just stand there and finish. But
we saw that pass from Joey Manu.
Yeah. Geez. I don't mind if you keep talking about the Chooks.
I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to?
No, I definitely don't want to. But I have one more miss, and it's...
Yeah, who is it?
It's Ezra, man. Yeah. And I think, he just didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people had high hopes for him in this round in terms of scoring points.
It's funny you picked Ezra Mam, though, because like you touched on with my point about Reynolds, I actually disagree with why you'd have him in your team because, like you said, Reece Walsh steals the thunder. It's like...
Exactly right. This is what I saw.
Yeah, so we both kind of learned the hard way.
It's the hard way, and now we know.
Move on next week. Oh, that's the beauty about GameDay Squad too, right? Every single week, it's a new competition. Yeah. There's money up for grabs. You win the prize. I mean, you can be the top dog. You can have a shocking week, but hey, next week bounce back and do it all over again. So, yeah, it is refreshing.
Keeps you in the game.
It'll keep you mentally in the game with the Bulldogs season as well. 1 week get the loss. Oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah,
it's a restart.
Something you'd say.
Yeah. All right. On the radar, we're going to have a look at a player on the radar who we don't have in our squad, but we want to look to get them in our squad. Or they could be, we could have them, but they're actually not in our starting 18, right?
Yeah.
So someone for me, I'm going to straight up go with Payne Haas. He topped the scoring so far. I mean, there's only been 2 games, but they're the 2 games we're talking about. Honestly, 37 tackles, ran for 133 metres in a losing side on the other side of the world. First game of the season. You talk about adapting to the time zone, adapting to the climate and still wanting to be that alpha male in the pack. When your starting front row partner departed you at the end of last season and your bench forward has departed as well, you lose a back rower in the first 5 minutes and you still score 84 points?
Yeah. And that's just base stats, man.
Mate.
You're going to see that every week.
You're going to see it every week, which is why he's on the radar for me. I don't know if I will then spend money to bring him in or like on the transfer market. I got to see what I do there. I got to play my cards close and wisely.
You're the same for me. Yeah, like it's pretty much the same thing. If Haas was my guy on the radar from those 2 games, but there's so many good players.
There are so many.
Just from those 2 games. And it's like you can have your eyes on so many players. It's just who are you going to pick up? And Haas was that good that he just has to be in your squad.
My thing is, if he's going to be playing Origin, like will we see like limited minutes from him, or do you think now that Flegler's left the club that he's just going to play the same minutes and he's going to be that same big dog every single week? Like,
I don't think the injury to Piakura was helpful. So not sure if he'll play the big minutes every week. Maybe during halfway through the season, we'll see him slack off like in terms of minutes.
Yeah.
And just get a bit more rest.
But if he plays less minutes and still scores that, like you said, like we were touching on, right? Every week is a fresh start. Yeah, if he's going to be like that, you're going to want him there.
Yeah, if not, you just keep him in your, keep him in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And then play him whenever you want, really.
Yeah.
It's a nice luxury.
He's, I mean... He's a genetic freak. Is there much else to say, or are we just going to ramble on about how good he is?
Fantasy, mate. He's that guy.
Yeah, he's him.
He's him, as they say now.
You got a second player?
No, I don't have a second player in terms of who we have seen, but for a player for this week.
Okay, I've got one for this week too. Go on.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go.
For this week, I'm going Kalen Ponga.
Okay.
Definitely on my radar, but on my radar because my fullback right now, Latrell Mitchell, just playing outstanding.
Who's your bench fullback?
So my bench fullback right now is Clint Gutherson.
Wow.
It's a bit weird for me because they're coming up against the Bulldogs. So I don't know. I'm not sure why I did it, but I guess it's kind of like bittersweet for me if we lose.
But Gutho just gets so involved.
Yeah.
Like, surely
I mean, I'd rather Ponga.
I think Ponga will score more points. He's got goal kicking.
Yeah, he's got goal kicking. So he's a player on my radar. He's been on my radar before this 2024 season. So I definitely want to grab him, but I want to see how Newcastle are going to start the season because we know last year they started very, very slow, and to the back end
they did start
up, and they obviously had that late surge.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to see how Ponga plays out. Obviously looking much fitter.
He is. He's looking shredded too.
8-pack.
He's got like an 8-pack. We've heard he swallowed a turtle.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, but my guy on the radar is actually someone who he's going to be facing this week.
Oh, wow.
He's making his debut for the Raiders. I'm not sure if you know who it is, but Morgan Smithies.
Yep.
Smithies, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce the name. Look, he hasn't played NRL yet. He's come from overseas.
Going off instincts here.
I'm going off instincts. I've heard rumours. We hear rumours all the time. I've heard, the word on the street, mate, is that he's an absolute freak and will just tackle absolutely anything. And Ricky Stewart loves his English forwards, right?
Yeah.
You get him in. He's starting at 13. So Team List Tuesday came out and I just had a look and he was starting at 13. I was like, well, if Tapani and Papali'i are starting front rowers and you got this guy at 13, I'm pretty sure he'll get enough minutes and he'll tackle anything that comes his way. So if that's true, and if he's just a tackling freak, surely he's going to take the occasional run. You're playing at 13, you have to take those tough carries. Could he be? He's someone on the radar. I'm not saying this isn't the transfer market segment. This isn't someone we need.
Too much, mate. You're giving away too much information.
I got to help out everyone. And like I said, we're not experts here. It's just about our opinion, and I want to see if the real listeners are as keen on Smithies to keep an eye on him as I am.
I'm sure everyone's now going to be watching him.
Yeah, definitely watch him. I mean, some people probably haven't even heard of him.
I've heard of him, but I didn't know he was an Englishman.
Yeah, well, imagine I got that wrong. I know he came from the Super League, so surely he's English. I mean, if I get that wrong and he's half Jamaican, half American, then I mean, I'll see myself out of the episode next week.
It would look bad, eh?
It would be really bad look at myself. So maybe we should move on in case it's not from the UK. But just take my word for it, guys, and just guys and girls, keep your eye out.
Yeah, for sure.
13 for Canberra this week.
I reckon we should make it more competitive, Norman. I feel like...
What do you want to put something on the line?
No, I feel like my team's just going to... I mean, it's already looking good. I feel like I'm going to beat you this week.
Okay. I don't know how to take that because you did start off really well and I've had...
Do you not back your team? The squad?
Look, I back my squad, but I do agree that going into round one, your squad is a little bit better than mine. So this is sort of like an underdog performance if I get the win this week.
Take an underdog card.
Oh, look, we can put a bet out there. Or
I just wanted to say my team. My squad's better? Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
I reckon we move on to stats don't lie because the stats won't lie at the end. If Josh has a better squad than mine, all right, fair enough. And maybe we can do something going forward each week. Maybe we'll leave it up to you guys. Let us know in the comment section what you want, what the forfeit should be every week based off whose squad performs better. But stats don't lie. I've got something that I've written down here, and I had to write it down because I actually didn't believe it at first, given that Melbourne is so good at the defense, right?
Let me hear it.
In their last 3 meetings, Penrith haven't scored less than 26 points against the Storm.
Nah.
Yep.
That's not true. Did you find that?
Yep.
You sure you're right?
Yeah, trust me. Please. I mean, if people watching are going to Google about Morgan Smithies and he's not from the UK, you're not going to trust me. But please trust me on this one. Penrith Panthers, in their last 3 meetings against Melbourne Storm, haven't scored less than 26 points against them. That's 3 games in a row against Melbourne. They haven't scored less than 26 points.
That's incredible.
Right, that's at least 4 converted tries, right? It is incredible. And Melbourne also haven't lost round one since 2001. So that's 22 years. And they're meeting against each other, right? After a World Club Challenge loss, back-to-back World Club Challenge losses, Cleary needing to steer the ship here again. Wow. Is he in for a big one? I just wanted to give you guys the stat about Melbourne not losing since 2001, a round one match. And then also the Penrith Panthers.
That's incredible.
26 points, at least 26 in their last 3 meetings. Surely Cleary is someone, surely he's a set and forget.
Yes, but that would scare a lot of people.
Yeah, 26 points is a lot, but 22 years without losing round one. So that's my question. My question is, that's why since stats don't lie, it's not on the radar or anything or transfer market.
That puts people in two minds.
But that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
What mind are you in? Because I'm of the mindset that if Melbourne haven't lost in 22 years, when would be a better time for them to lose? It'll be against the reigning three-peat premiers who've just come off a loss overseas with, scoring 26 points against them in their last 3 meetings, like at least 26 points. This is the time to lose a round one match.
Yeah. Well, I would say in terms of stats, bringing it back to it, Cleary's topped the fantasy points against Storm last 2 matches.
Yeah.
So it's like, in terms of a fantasy
perspective,
you'd have to go Cleary, just set him. But,
that's what I'm saying, man. Munster's under an injury cloud.
Oh, is he?
That's what I've heard. I mean, I tell you, I'm hearing whispers from people.
Where are you hearing this from, mate?
From everyone. The good old slip in the shower. That's actually funny. He's genuinely, guys, take my word for this one, please. He's injured his groin, and it's the old slip in the shower. So when Tommy slipped in the shower, but really he raced someone along the Esplanade and did his hammy a couple of years back. They said Munster slipped in the shower, but I mean, I've slipped in the shower before, twice. I never hurt my groin.
That's incredible.
It's a lie. Surely. But he's under an injury cloud. So if he pulls out,
but Norman's just
Cleary's in for like 80. Oh, that's bold.
Mate, you're just coming through with all these different stats.
Do you think Cleary can score 75 points against Melbourne?
No, I don't think so this week. I don't think this week. I'm going to
say... If Munster's out.
If Munster's out, I don't think it makes a difference.
Okay, well.
I don't think it makes a difference in terms of how Cleary performs. But like I said, he's topped in the last 2 matches against Melbourne in terms of fantasy for all players on the field. It won't be surprised if he does it again because that's just what he does. But in terms of, you're saying Melbourne haven't lost in 22 years?
Since 2001, which is when I was born. So I've never seen Melbourne lose round one, even when I was a 1-year-old. They haven't lost.
That's actually amazing.
Apparently it's the best record, a round one record.
Well, a record that I read up today, I don't like, and I had to face, is that Parramatta haven't failed to score less than 30 against the Bulldogs. Is that right?
30?
Against the Bulldogs' last 2 or 3 face-ups.
Really? Well, I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure because I was at the games. So it's like...
So if the stats are lying... Josh isn't lying because he's felt it. It's a core memory.
And I had to when you have that feeling, you just have to sit there and just take it from the fans.
Yeah, I don't know too much of it, but yeah.
Yeah, you do. When did we verse you guys?
And we won?
No, the Doggies won.
Oh, first time in 8 years, this bloke.
And SportsShed started up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful day.
So anyway, who are you saying is in for a big game from a fantasy perspective?
I would say, we put on the spot here.
Surely Moses.
You put me on the spot here.
If they're scoring points, it's got to be Moses, right?
Are you saying in terms of this match, the Bulldogs?
So you're saying the stat is that Parramatta have scored a shit ton of points against Dogs recently. Yeah. So you're saying fantasy-wise, who would you have in your squad from Parramatta?
Oh, yeah.
Based off that stat?
I'd go Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown.
Dillbags over Moses?
Of course, yeah. I think he's a player that can do anything at any minute, and now he has Sean Lane on his side.
And Sean Lane's starting, confirmed that he's starting to the team list,
which is a massive bonus. So I think you'd need to have, I'm sure you need to have Dylan Brown in your squad.
Well, the reality is, I disagree with you there. I mean, I'd love to have Dylan Brown in my squad. I don't have him, but I would love to. I'm saying you've got to have one of the two.
Yep.
Dillbags or Moses. It doesn't necessarily have to be Dylan Brown. If Para are going to keep piling on the points, I mean, you've got Moses who does his job too, right? And he's goal kicking. If Para's scoring like 5 or 6 tries and Moses is kicking 4 or 5 out of them, he's probably outscoring Dylan Brown if Dylan Brown sets up an extra try here and there. So it's like...
But do you reckon they're going to focus on Moses' side for attack? You know, with the introduction of Sean Lane back in the squad.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're going to be focusing on that left side in terms of attack?
Yes, but which side will be targeted more in defense?
Yeah.
I'm saying the left side as well, just because that partnership still, like, you know, haven't played together in a while. Yeah. So it just leads to, you know, potentially more missed tackles, more fatigue on that side. So when it comes time to attack, I feel like Moses will be a bit more fresh, and we could see things come down that side too. Plus, it might take a couple of, like we always say, that's the beauty of GameDay Squad. Every week's a new week, but it might take a few weeks for that left edge to click again.
Yeah.
So that's why I would go with Moses. But I love Dylan Brown and what he brings to the game, and I also think he's the best defensive six in the comp. I've said that for a couple of years now, so that does help. But just for this week alone,
I'd
rather have Moses in my squad, which I do have Moses in my squad. So
I'm sure a lot of Para fans would be having both of them, and probably Clint as well.
That's a Parramatta dream.
They'd have the whole spine just sitting in the...
Yeah, but this way you can't be biased too. Like, if you've got 3 out of 4 spine players from the team that you support in your GameDay squad, it's not always going to go well.
Yeah.
If Bulldogs have an upset win and ends up being a tight game like 2018, like, how many points are you getting between those 3 players? You might be lucky to get, 100 points between the 3 of them.
100%. But yeah, it's really, you're right.
Yeah.
I'd say we're definitely going to agree on Storm Penrith being the game to watch. You just can't miss that game.
Oh, you definitely can't miss that game. But then also from a fantasy perspective, it'd be interesting to see how the Bulldogs are like a brand new team all of a sudden. And obviously Parramatta, it's interesting to see how their attack's going to shape up now. So I wouldn't want to miss that one as well. But definitely Storm Penrith would be no one disturb me. I'm watching that game.
Well, another game, I'd say Para and Bulldogs probably bring the most fans to the stadium in terms of,
that should have 30,000?
Should at least.
Yeah.
In another game, we got the Dolphins at the Cowboys. Dolphins v Cowboys. Okay. I feel like that's going to be a very, Dolphins home. It's going to be a cracking game. And points, I reckon a lot of points.
Well, points on the card.
And it's going to be, I reckon there's a big year, new captain Dearden.
Yeah.
I reckon he's in for a massive season. Well, another Smokey just sliding under the radar. Yeah,
well, someone who I didn't mention on the radar, but Scott Drinkwater, obviously he's a classy fullback. And I'm just trying to think, like, if Dearden's in for a big year, surely they utilise Drinkwater even more than what they did last year. And he was already... Yeah. Like, they're using like crazy last season, but if he wants to push for a Blues jersey, he's going to have to back it up again. So I think he's in for a big season. I'd have him in my squad if I did have him. You know what I mean? It's someone, it's like, if you've got him there and you're considering, who do I play? I'd definitely play him and Ponga. I think they'd be the strongest 2 fullbacks, to be honest with you. But just touching on that game that you mentioned, I've got Asako in my squad and I've got Val Holmes. So both goal kicking in that game. I hope it's points galore like Manly Souths.
Yeah, I think when you go with a goal kicker, it automatically is a positive. So it gives you that incentive to just, set and forget kind of thing. So, but in terms of this game,
Cowboys, just looking at the lineup here.
Cowboys are just a squad where you just don't know, especially for the last few years. They could just come out of nowhere, top 4 or, bottom 8.
Yeah, you don't know where they'll finish, but
that lineup, when you look at it, it's incredible. The experience, the strength, the speed.
And the points available for that pack, like if you look at the lock and the back rowers, like you got Lukey, Nanai and Cotter.
Yeah.
They scream fantasy points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
Like
they do.
The amount of hit ups they take, the tackle breaks they bust out of, the opportunity to line break, they're actually 3 like prolific try scoring players in the forward pack. We probably for our stats and analysis section, probably have a look at that stat next week, which forward pack tends to score the most tries, because I reckon those 3 would be up there overall. But yeah, definitely one to look out for. 100%. But should we move on to transfer market, who if we had to purchase one player for our squad?
Yep.
Based off what I've seen so far, I'm going Damien Cook. I think Hook is an extremely tough position to sort of look out for on the market this season. And I think it will be like that because a lot of clubs don't know whether they're going to go with an 80-minute hooker, or if they need someone to spice it up, like a utility coming through, like, Bulldogs signing 10 utilities. But Cookie played 80 minutes. If he can do that every single week...
Mate, you're throwing your eggs in one basket there.
Yeah, like I'm actually such a nice guy. I'm just helping out everyone here with just my thoughts.
Yeah.
But genuinely, guys, if he's playing 80 every week, why wouldn't he be one of 2 hooking options?
Question, who's your hookers at the moment?
I've got Brendan Smith at the moment.
Yep.
And Sam Verrills, but that's going to have to change because Sam Verrills is listed to start on the bench. I like the upside he's got in attack because I've seen it when he was at the Roosters, and I know defensively he can tackle anything.
You can change. You can change that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
We can change now just for the game on GameDay Squad.
So
lucky you can do that.
I am lucky. I'm just confused because
I mean,
looks like I'm going to have to pull out the wallet for Cookie.
I reckon you might have to wait and see for this round. I think your minds on the hooker position might change in terms of the players we have to come and see and now watch.
Like we said, it is early days, right?
Yeah, of course. But for me,
who do you got?
Got Benny Trbojevic.
Ben Trbojevic, okay.
You know, they obviously bagged a try, looked bigger and stronger than last season, and he's running those lines like a player's been playing 10 years. And it's incredible. You know, especially when running alongside his two brothers, makes it even more special. And in terms of a fantasy player, he's just a gun.
Well, the lines he was running were insane. And I was messaging Josh in the game, like waiting for a line break. Like it's coming. And then just boom, busts and scores. And it's like, this guy is the real deal.
Yeah. I think it had a few clouds over his head for the last 2 years. You know, he got injured a bit. People didn't think he was strong enough, big enough. Had a one-off season and definitely looking like he's filled his shoes and he's ready for a massive season.
Yeah. It's just hard. The back row position's hard because it's like there's so many guns.
So many guns.
So do you go with this young guy who could be in for a big season, or would you rather someone who's going to consistently get...
Yeah.
Like, is he consistently going to get points? We don't know. So I feel like we've got to hold off on him too.
Like, he's definitely not a first choice, but in terms of a bench spot and being able to fit there.
Like, he does a job. He does more than a job. He's got the attacking upside, which we were questioning.
Yeah, of course.
He answered our questions very early on.
Of course. Well, we have a fan question.
Oh, yeah?
We have a fan question. People want us to lock in our top four. They want us to lock it in.
Top four fantasy players or top four?
Top four.
For the season?
For the season. Our game day top four for the rugby league season. We're gonna agree that Penrith are in there.
Yep.
Brisbane Broncos. Or are you sliding them out? Are we gonna slide them out of the top four?
Nah,
Melbourne Storm.
Storm in the four, you're saying?
Yeah.
Damn.
For me, here's how I see it.
You give me your four.
I see no particular order.
You're not going to give an order?
No, an order.
Come on.
Because I can't. So I'm going to go Penrith, Melbourne, Warriors, Broncos. I reckon that's a lot of people's top four. And you're struggling.
Yeah.
We don't have all night.
Okay, I'll hit you with it. I'm going Penrith, Broncos, Roosters, Warriors. Storm finished fifth for me.
Very nice. Reckon Roosters slot in there?
Yeah, we'll slot in the four. Potentially, third. Warriors fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think we finished third. I'm keen. I'm so keen. Well, it's just... Yeah. It's hard. We've got to see how everyone plays, but obviously it's super early. But if that's the fan question, we've got to deliver with the answers.
Well, we've still got massive lot of games coming through for the rest of the round one. We can't wait to watch them.
Yeah. Well, in terms of, this wasn't a fan question, but in terms of game day squad points, my top four, I came up with it.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm thinking we see Cleary, Hines, Cherry, Haas.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the halves, goal-kicking halves, setting up tries non-stop, scoring a couple themselves.
I'd have to disagree with Hines. I think I said it before.
What?
I just think...
The Trindle factor?
Yeah, the Trindle factor. It's just going to affect him a bit. And I don't think Shark scored as many points as last year. We know that he averaged in top 5 last year.
Yeah.
So definitely like a gun player in terms of this season. I reckon he's going to...
And like you said, it's top 5 in terms of points every week.
Yeah.
Like...
Hard to see.
Yeah.
But, that's your prediction.
It's my prediction. I'm just trying to deliver for you guys.
I'll leave it with you. But, massive week coming through in the rugby league space.
Yeah.
And, Another
podcast done and dusted. But leave all your thoughts, comments, questions, everything down below in the Discord as well. DM us on at SportsShedTV if you have anything. But that's the GameDay Squad Rugby League show done and dusted for another week. It's funny, this is our third show. We're not even finished round one.
I know.
It's actually crazy to think about. But
dedication.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed. And enjoy the footy this week and make sure you fix up your squads and get ready to take us on, eh? Yeah. Although it looks like we're struggling to take each other on at this point, but it's early days. Every week's a new week.
By the end of the year, you'll see my squad on top, Norman's team down below.
And it's all talk. It's like Bulldogs fans, all bark, no bite. I've been saying this for years.
You read my mind. You read my mind.
Yeah? What were you going to say?
I just wanted to send them off with go the Bulldogs.
This bloke. All right, that's an episode done.
See ya.